Hey, what up, everybody? So coming to you today with another 2020 mid-year top 10. This one is on the 126-pound featherweight division. That is my 10th best division in boxing of the 12 that I cover. Gonna be seeing what's going on there for the first half of the year, what's been done, and what's gonna happen in the second half of the year coming out of the coronavirus. So, well, not out of it, we're still in it, but with boxing coming back is what I mean. Let's jump into it. We start with anybody that's dropped out. Nobody's dropped out of the top 10 yet this year because not a lot has been going on due to the coronavirus. So let's jump into the top 10 and see what everybody's got going on. We start with number 10, Jesse Delano, former champion at 122 pounds. Jesse Delano was supposed to fight in March. Fight got canceled due to the coronavirus. He then came back in June and was one of the first shows back when he took on the NFL something. He was dominating an unknown fighter, outboxing him, outclassing him over 10 rounds, scored a couple knockdowns, but then that guy landed a bunch of low blows, and that caused him to be disqualified in the 10th and final round. He got disqualified, so that stopped the fight. So now he's going to be waiting around to see what he does next. Now, Delano's the WBC's number one contender right now, and has been calling out Gary Russell Jr. to fight for the title. I think he could fight Gary Russell. I think there's also a chance he could fight for the vacant title, since Russell has been talking about moving up in weight to 130 or 35 pounds. So with Delano number one, I think he's just going to stay patient and see what goes on for the WBC belt first, and then go from there. I don't think he's going to be linked anymore to the WBO title because there's too many guys ahead of him in those rankings. So yeah, we could be seeing Delano versus Kid Galahad or Tusko Nyambayar for the vacant WBC title, or he could get a crack at Gary Russell Jr. So he wants that next, and I think a title fight is likely going to come next, or a final eliminator. So we'll see. Next, and still number 9, is former super bantamweight champion Isaac Dogboe. Dogboe, still haven't heard anything on his return to the ring. He hasn't fought since May of last year. I still have him ranked here because he was supposed to have moved up, and he says his future is at featherweight, but he still hasn't officially fought at featherweight. So still waiting around for that to see what happens. I think he's going to be coming back sometime in the next few months. He'll get a quick knockout win, probably in August, September area. Get a knockout win, push forward. I think he's going to fight maybe 1 or 2 nobodies, so he might get 2 of those fights in before the end of the year. But I wouldn't expect him to get into an eliminator or anything just yet. I think he wants to shake off that rust, get a couple knockout wins under his belt, and then push forward in 2021 at other things. So we'll see. Okay, next, and still number 8 at featherweight, is former world title challenger Tusko Nyambayar, or King Tug as they call him, from Mongolia. This guy challenged for his first world title on February 8th. He took on Gary Russell Jr., mandatory title fight. Ended up being a solid fight, but Gary Russell's just too good. Gary Russell outboxed him. He never let Nyambayar in the first 9-10 rounds land more than 1 punch at a time, and he just completely outboxed him and outworked him. But in the championship rounds, Nyambayar came on strong, landed some more punches, put some pressure on Russell, made it a little bit closer, but it was a pretty clear-cut unanimous decision win. And so Russell's still world champion with that, but Nyambayar showed enough heart toward the WBC, and he did well enough to where the WBC still has him ranked pretty high. He's actually ranked number 3 right now in the WBC, and I think he's going to wait around to see what Gary Russell does next, because there's a lot revolving around it. Even though he's number 3, he's not number 1 and 2. Jesse Delano is no guarantee he's going to cash in on his WBC number 1 contendership, and Kid Galahad is the wild card, ranked at number 2. Galahad's number 1 in the IBF and lined up for Josh Warrington in a rematch. He might not want to fight for the vacant WBC title against Jesse Delano if Gary Russell gives it up. So that would bump Nyambayar up to fight for the vacant title. So I think a lot's weighing on what's going to go down with what's his name, with Gary Russell Jr., if he's going to be defending his title or not. again, or if he's going to be moving up in weight and vacating the belt. So a lot riding on that. I think we'll find out in the next couple months, and I think Nayambayar is either going to fight in some kind of an eliminator, or he's going to fight for the vacant title next. We just got to wait and see what happens. Long shot that he just stays busy and takes on a nobody and gets a win, but he still might. Number 7 is next, and still number 7 is the former WBA champion, Jesus Rojas. Rojas, sadly, haven't heard anything on what he's going to do next. He hasn't fought since May of last year when he bounced back from the loss to Shakur and got a TKO victory against some nobody. Just been waiting around since. I don't understand it because he's number 5 in the WBA, and when he lost that title to Ken, most people felt he should have won. He should have edged that out, and it was a very close fight. Nothing to hang his head about. And I don't know why he hasn't been back. So I'm hoping we hear something on him coming back soon, because this division's about to be wide open with 3 major names moving up, and he could definitely move in line or put himself in position to fight for a world title, and it could take just one fight, especially with him ranked number 5 in the WBA. You never know. He could get ranked by the other governing bodies, so I'm hoping we hear something soon. Next, and still number 6, is the undefeated WBO featherweight champion, Shakur Stevenson. Stevenson has not defended. Well, he didn't defend his title this year. He was supposed to fight in March, defend his title against Miguel Mariaga. That fight got canceled due to the pandemic. So he ended up coming back in June, and he was the first guy out to fight when he took on little-known Felix Caraballo, whatever you want to call him. And he dominated him, but it was at 130 pounds. Got a knockout victory, and there was talks about him moving back down and defending his title, but he wanted to stay at 130. He felt more comfortable there. He got a knockout win, and he said he would only come back down to 126 to face Josh Warrington in a unification bout. That fight doesn't look likely because just yesterday Stevenson announced that he's making it official that he's staying at 130 and going to be giving up his world title there at 126 to compete at 130. So a lot of things going on right there. And, and we'll see what he does at 130 pounds. I think he's just going to stay busy in his next fight, possibly get into some kind of an eliminator, maybe a final eliminator to get a shot at the WBO title at 130, but we got to wait and see. Next, and still number 5, or I think he's still number 5, is Shakur of China. I'm sorry, guys, I don't have my notepad with me to be confirmed about where they were, but Shakur of China, the WBA champion, is number 5 right now. Ken looks like he's going to get a golden opportunity to attempt to unify belts with Josh Warrington. When Warrington's projected unification bout with Shakur Stevenson kind of got pushed to the side, Warrington said he wanted to face Shakur instead, the WBA champion. It's been off and on, but for the most fight on, that's going to happen next. I'm waiting around to see what happens. Both guys are with DAZN. Warrington is with Matchroom. And what's his name? Shakur is with Golden Boy. So this fight's very easy to make, but we got to wait and see if they're going to be able to put it together or not. But I think they will. I think it's happening next, especially with Stevenson announcing yesterday that he's staying at 130 full time. I think there's only one option for Warrington before he has to make a mandatory, and it's a unification bout with Shakur. So pretty sure that's going to happen. I got Warrington winning a close decision over Ken, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ken, with his style and as many punches as he throws, if he pulls out the win there. Next at number 4 is former 2-division champion Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton's ranked number 3 in the WBO, but he has made it pretty damn clear that he's moving up to 130, and he has a title fight with Jamel Herring waiting for him. They were supposed to fight already in June. The coronavirus pushed that back to where both guys want to take tune-ups. Herring's getting his coming up next week against Jonathan Akendo, and then Carl Frampton's supposed to be fighting in August sometime from Belfast with Michael Conlon on the undercard. So we should be seeing him. He's going to stay busy next, should get a win. I'm hoping we see that fight happen before the end of the year. If not, it's going to be probably in the January area, but Frampton looks to be for sure that he's moving up to 130 officially, so we'll see. Next at number 3 is former world title challenger Kid Galahad. Galahad has had a great year so far. In February, he tried to bounce back 8 months later from the loss to from Warrington by a controversial split decision last year, and he fought in a final eliminator. No fights in between. and took on Claudio Marrero, the always tough Claudio Marrero. Now, it was in Galahad's home country of the United Kingdom, but you know what? I thought with Marrero's experience that the pressure and his style was going to beat Galahad, and Galahad completely picked Marrero apart, dominated him, and got a clean 8th round TKO victory, very convincing to become the IBF's mandatory challenger again. Now, Warrington has an optional defense in between. Warrington can face who he wants, which he's going to do a unification there, and Galahad's got to wait around. Now, he doesn't have to, though, if Gary Russell gives up the WBC title, and here's why. Galahad's ranked number 1 in the IBF, but he's also ranked number 2 in the WBC. So if Gary Russell, who's been saying he's moving up to 130 and 135, he gives up that WBC belt, Galahad has a direct line at the shot against Jesse Magdaleno for the vacant title, and that fight might come sooner than a rematch with Warrington or a fight with the winner of Warrington and Ken. So a lot of things going on, a lot of options for Kid Galahad. He can wait around. He might wait around, take a tune-up fight to fight the winner of Warrington and Ken. He might wait to see what Russell decides and go straight at the vacant WBC title. We just got to wait and see. I'm leaning towards the Warrington route and to fight for the unified title, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes after Russell because of time, and it might be a quicker fight to make, so we'll see. Next and still number 2 is the reigning WBC champion, Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell returned, made the 5th defense of his world title in February against Tuxko Nyambayar, his undefeated mandatory number 1 contender, and he completely outboxed Nyambayar pretty much for the first 9-10 rounds. He outboxed him, outclassed him, never let Nyambayar land more than 1 punch at a time. Championship rounds, he got hit with a few more shots. He got tagged pretty decent, but he took it. He kept fighting back. He won a clean 12-round unanimous decision and convincing one, and now is in line, has options to move up. He says he wants to move up in weight. He said that, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of options at 130, 135. So does Russell want to stay down for another fight at 126? Or does he want to just take the chance and go up to 130, 135? What's sad is we're probably not going to find out for a few months because Russell likes to fuck with people like that. He already made his mandatory, so Magdaleno being the number 1 contender doesn't mean anything because the WBC is not going to mandate Gary Russell to fight Magdaleno in back-to-back mandatory fights. They're just, maybe they'll do that, but I doubt it. So right now we're probably looking at Russell waiting around for a few months to decide what he wants to do, and then we won't know by the end of the year. I'm hoping, though, I'm hoping he does either one. I think a fight with him and Magdaleno would be a good one. And I think if he moves up to 130, 135 to start making a name for himself would be fun and exciting, too. So I'm leaning more towards that route, but I wouldn't mind seeing him and Magdaleno either before the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. And finally, at number 1 is the undefeated IBF champion, Josh Warrington. Been saying pretty much throughout the whole thing, Warrington had a fight on the table with Shakur Stevenson. Stevenson wanted a fight in between. Warrington did not want to wait. So that fight got scrapped. Warrington has decided to go towards a unification bout with WBA regular champion, or WBA champion, Shakur of China. And it looks like that fight is almost for sure going to happen because there was talks again that Stevenson and Warrington could get together, but now Stevenson has decided he's staying at 130 and giving up his world title in the featherweight division. So that means pretty much Warrington and Ken should be fighting each other next. Now, is there a chance that they could be like other guys and take interim bouts in between, tune-ups? Yes, that's possible, but I really think they're going to go at each other because Warrington doesn't have the luxury to be making those kind of defenses right now, optional defenses and tune-ups, because he has a mandatory to do against Kid Galahad. And they allowed him one optional defense. If he wants a unified belt against Shakur, then that optional defense is going to be taken off the table if he decides to do something between that. So he's going to pretty much have to go to that. I think Warrington at his best can beat Can, but I think it's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be a good one, and I can't wait to see it. I'm hoping it gets announced any day now because Eddie Hearn with Matchroom is figuring out his whole thing, and he's coming back pretty much August and pushing forward after that. So we'll see what goes down. But all right, guys, that's the mid-year top 10 on the 126-pound featherweight division. I hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.